In a previous video, I reflected on my second book, Discipline or Something Else. A concept I mentioned was the 3 basic appetites. It wasn't the first time, so I figured you were familiar enough. Yet, based on a comment, this wasn't the case. Assuming that person is not alone, in this one I'll cover the 3 basic appetites and why they matter for occultists, creatives, and really anyone. This includes 1. The concept's origins, and 2. Its applications for improving life quality and reaching higher states of being, regardless of your path and crafts. The 3 basic appetites. The 3 basic appetites come from Napoleon Hill's Outwitting the Devil. The book was written in 1938, yet it was published much later due to being too controversial. The 3 basic appetites are those for sex, food, and loosely organized opinions. The Yetzir Hara. Being what traditional Kabbalists call the Yetzir Hara, Hill's devil, really is humans' innate drive to self-destruct, self-sabotage, and harm each other. Lurking in the depths of the personal subconscious, the devil uses the 3 basic appetites to achieve its aim, which is to mess you and those around you up. Self-discipline. Discipline gurus often explain discipline with vague examples based on forcing yourself into things you genuinely despise, waking up at 4 a.m. and or not eating cookies when you want. Hill clarifies that the basis of self-discipline and thus freedom from the Yetzir Hara is really mastering the 3 basic appetites. And what do you know? This is actually quite Kabbalistic. The Nephesh. While many occultists ignore it, one of the early goals on the path is to get your Nephesh to collaborate, not to punish it. Residing in Yesod, the sphere of the moon and personal subconscious, the Nephesh includes your inner child, Freudian id, and Jungian shadow. Also called animal soul, the Nephesh corresponds to the parts of the brain some define as ancient or reptilian. It contains instincts and primal urges. Willpower is a joke. Relying on willpower is the most common mistake when it comes to mastering the 3 basic appetites and getting your Nephesh to collaborate. While initial decisions are essential, willpower is futile against hormones and primal urges. You cannot decision make your way into a long-lasting change. Now, if you obey the Nephesh mindlessly, you will turn into a swab, struggle with obesity, and likely end up in trouble. If you punish it, that backfires with full force. The key as mentioned is to make it collaborate, which is where mastering the 3 basic appetites comes into play. Mastering the appetites. Unlike agendas lobbyists have been pushing recently, this isn't about quitting sex or food, quite the opposite. It's about being a fully functioning human and enjoying all aspects of life without having your Nephesh in the way. Examples include never obsessing over sex or acting based on being needy but enjoying regular intercourse, and never being hungry while feasting daily. What you want is not stuffing your face when having cravings but not experiencing hunger or any cravings whatsoever, not fighting temptations but not having any outside of the bedroom, and not discussing topics without doing your homework. More than coincidence. Aligning with the time of publishing the book, modern research shows us that mastering the 3 basic appetites is quite doable and vastly independent of willpower. It boils down to 3 things. 1. Rewiring your brain by embracing NoFap and developing a healthy relationship with sex, adopting OMAD or another IF protocol, and controlling insulin, leptin, and ghrelin as they are the root causes of hunger and blood sugar dysregulations. And 3. Filling the emptiness with healthy and life-affirming habits like the gym and building skills necessary for your ikigai, meaning, or creative mission. Mental override. While Hill identifies 3 basic appetites, food and sex carry most of the leverage. You can quit any addiction you weren't meant to have in first place, but you cannot quit the 2 biggest of the 3 Fs. Those who really studied Outwitting the Devil know that today's third danger is really letting social media to do your thinking for you, which he would call surrendering to the devil. The good news is that when you really master sex and food, controlling your information diet and behavior kinda comes naturally. Let me know if you agree. Combined with the gym, these strengthen your ability for mental override, which is basically doing the right things at the right times without internal negotiation or arguing via mindless willpower exertion. True stories. Across the internet, you will rarely find someone who truly adopted NoFap, OMAD, and the gym, but didn't undergo a complete self-transformation. Making a pact with your Nephesh requires a healthy relationship with your body and balancing Netzach, your passions and emotions, and Hod, your intellect and rational thinking. Systems and reasoning only last when you're passionate and emotional about them. Appropriate actions work only when not interrupted by addictions or hormonal issues. Magick and Creativity. Magically, mastering the three basic appetites is foundational to balancing the four-lower Sephiroth ascribed to the elements and strengthening your connection to the angel by hearing its voice clearly. Achieving it unlocks many people's true creativity, allowing them to sustain flow states. Now, Chinzit Mihai's autotelic self is really not the Neshama, but the Neshama contains it. Your art and creative output are the voice of your angel. An invisible order. Now, suppose I ran an invisible order. The members would have the basic appetites mastered before reaching 2 = 9 Theoricus. Seriously, what kind of alchemical metal melting and probability shifts would you navigate successfully if struggling to get a hold of something as basic as your own body? So rather than taking nootropics the gurus advertise, just master the 3 basic appetites and see what happens as a creative. As an occultist, do that first and then study ritual and correspondences, pursuing effectiveness, not fantasies. But that's just my opinion. Let me know if it resonates, and thank you for your time.